10 useless gun concepts that make no sense. Games with a free roam feature have created an entirely different enigma for gamers. Looking at the various possibilities that such gamers have to offer, you can practically do anything which you probably can't do in the real world. Shooting zombies in the head, killing terrorists using grenades, and running away from cops after using an RPG, all of these things have given us the best of memories. But often games have some weird and useless gun concepts that make no sense at all. You must surely have noticed some of them yourself or might have heard from fellow gamers on Discord or Reddit. Though they do not reduce the amount of fun and exhilaration the games provide mostly, the true gamers do realize that they widen the gap between games and reality. True gamers want their games to be the closest to reality, which is why useless gun concepts give them a reason to get frustrated. In this video, we'll tell you 10 useless gun concepts that make no sense. So without any further delay, let us get started. Number 10. Shotguns. The first category of firearms that comes in your mind with the phrase useless guns concepts is how shotguns are portrayed in games. The difference of firepower of shotguns is too wide. Some games give you the power to kill hundreds of enemies in a short period after you equip a shotgun. Doom and its sequel are supposed to be fast-paced video games, which is why you can kill hundreds of monsters with the shotgun or super shotgun in no time. But when we look at other games with a good combat system, they would nerf the shotguns without thinking twice. Another flaw in shotgun logic is the bullet spray. You can kill multiple enemies in some games like Gears of War, but in some, like the new Modern Warfare, you can snipe someone with a shotgun. This is why the gun concept does not make sense. Number 9. Bullet physics. In the real world, bullets and all the other projectiles that are used in a normal warfare or any other such scenario follows Newton's law of motion, and we all know how they end up. But in the world of video games, you can forget those laws, which rule the world literally. Some people argue about the importance of real-world-like gun physics, but some of us know that the weird bullet physics is what makes the game fun. Call of Duty, Battlefield, and Rainbow Six Siege, all of them have different bullet physics, but all have a lot of common players. Some complain about physics, but the rest enjoy what they have in hand. Number 8. Unlimited ammo in mounted machine guns. Imagine being chased by a horde of zombies in the Call of Duty games or Days Gone, and suddenly, you spot a mounted machine gun. You wait for the intense firepower to get loaded and then spray and kill tons of those brain-eating creatures. Now imagine that after a flurry of shooting, the bullets get over and you have nowhere to run. Weird, right? This is because we're too habituated to see unlimited ammo in mounted machine guns. The absence of them would make the gameplay irritating. At most, the limiting factor of such MMGs is overheating, which is also present in only a few seconds. It does make much sense, but is very satisfying nevertheless. Number 7. Gun stereotyping. This is one of the most common and weird gun concepts that make no sense at all. If you spot a guy with an AK-47, which probably you should not, you would associate the guy with a bad organization or even consider him a terrorist. But if you spot someone with an M4 carbine, you would automatically assume him to be an army man or a good guy. You can also assume any guy with a Russian dialect to be possessing an SMG in video games. This is some sort of stereotype which movies and video games have embedded into our brains. And though this is not harmful, it indeed is strange. Number 6. Arm placement. The placement of the arm on the weapons would be very weird if you did it with a real gun. Most games keep those arms with the weapons on the left or the right side of the screen to make space for the UI and HUD elements, or sometimes even opening up the rest of the screen to see stuff. In reality, if you hold the gun in the same way, you would probably end up sprayed with bullets and dead. This is why the arm placement of weapons in games should not be considered sensible. Number 5. Rocket launchers and a difference in power. Rocket launchers can demolish tanks and aircraft, we all know it, and have tried to do it in every game that has the infamous weapon. This destructive weapon is capable of overkilling armies, and even conquering the enormous bosses in Doom. But when it comes to exploding a metal or wooden door, it would fail miserably. Though we all know that the reason for this flaw is to maintain the story consistency and difficulty of the game, it does not make much sense. In games like Fallout 4, you can only pick doors with a screwdriver, but a rocket launcher would not do much. In reality, we know what would happen. Number 4. An arrow would do more damage than a bullet. This is one of the strangest aspects of some first-person games, and if we have to cite an example, the games in the Far Cry series would be the best ones. Of course, you can kill an enemy with a single headshot by arrows, as well as bullets. But when it comes to body shots, the damage done by arrows is sometimes much more than bullets. In the real world, we all know what the outcome would be. The only sensible aspect we all would agree on bows and arrows would be the silence they provide. But when it comes to damage, it's a huge no if they're being compared to pistols or SMGs. Number 3. The recoil. Now, let's talk about the big daddy. In video games, the recoil is a ruse. A player with a minigun would undoubtedly be aware of the bone-shattering pulse and uncontrollable aim. A good example of this is Call of Duty. Yes, players would not enjoy swinging their guns around like they were holding a live cobra in their hands. However, recoil is an important factor that many games have yet to master. There are a few games that have reasonably realistic recoil, but the majority of them are concerned with making the gunplay look cool. Number 2. Silencer and suppressor usage. This is some that many stealth games rely on. A suppressor, also known as a silencer, is a device that attaches to the muzzle of a firearm and reduces the overall sound produced. This essential attachment is a prominent part of the core gameplay in games like Hitman, Splinter Cell, PUBG, Battlefield, and many others. However, it is far from perfect. Simply slapping a silencer on top of a weapon does not make it soundproof, it simply lowers the overall volume. So, if a player fires a silenced weapon at an enemy, other nearby targets should be able to hear it. Silencer, on the other hand, in most games, means no sound, which is far from the case. Number 1. Carrying weapons. It is not absurd that you can carry more than 30 weapons in some games without even an interdimensional pocket or backpack. Okay, 3 or 4 weapons make sense, like how Hollywood action heroes used to carry them. But in games, they pull out an RPG or a flamethrower from their pockets and then shove it back in no time. This is something that seriously needs to be addressed now. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please click the like button below, followed by the subscribe button. You may also share our videos and come back to see what else we have to offer. See you in the next video.